Hello, BookTube. I was kind of thinking that perhaps you'd seen enough of my face for one day, so I wasn't really sure what I was going to do if more mail showed up, but the mail that showed up is entirely boxes. It's not one, not two, but three boxes. How can I not do an all-box mail haul? So we'll do these three boxes, and then I'll let you go. We'll start with this first one here. I'm guessing that all three of these are books that simply could have been put into mail envelopes, but it's okay by me. What do we got? It's the first one here. Oh, fantastic. Okay. The great folks at Basic Books, this is Army of Empire. This is the untold story of the Indian Army during World War I. So right up Steve's alley in a few different ways. This comes out on December 4th, so next week. Let's see here. In the summer of 1914, just as the First World War broke out, British Prime Minister Herbert Asquith pledged to use all the resources of their vast empire in order to win. At the time, this empire included 2 divisions from India, ready and willing to fight. The Indian Army proved to be an integral part of the war, but has been largely forgotten until now. In his new book, Army of Empire, George Morton Jack recounts the previously untold story of the 1.7 million Indian soldiers in the Indian Expeditionary Forces that was sent to fight in the Great War in Britain. For decades, this war has been viewed as a primarily British or European event, the focus is being on the Western Front as a tragic theater in which luckless British troops were sent to slaughter alongside Canadians, Australians, and New Zealanders. Drawing on exclusive and recently uncovered interviews and wartime letters, the author reveals the little-known struggles and victories experienced by their Indian counterparts. And I have had the big, fat, advanced copy of this for a while now. I haven't read it. I've just... I did an enormous amount of reading yesterday and last night. I've done an enormous amount of reading all this week. And I intend to keep that up, and I am, because of that, I am actually gaining ground on the backlog for November and on getting a huge jump on December. I want to read December books just nonstop in the month of December to finish out my reading year. So, this is right on my agenda. So, in fact, I'll probably read this tonight and see what kind of a job it does. Let's move on. Here's this next one here. Nice and heavy. Probably another finished copy. What do we got here? Oh. It's many finished copies. I have gushed about these before on this channel. Harvard University Press makes a series of books called the Loeb Classical Library. They've been doing it for over a century, or almost a century, that is all of the works of the classic world, ancient Greece and ancient Rome, in these handy little durable hardcovers with the original language, either Greek or Latin on one side, and a usually serviceable English-language translation on the other, plus notes and whatnot. And I love the Loeb Classical Libraries. There's now, those of you who have been watching this channel for a long time with an unhealthy amount of attention will know that I prefer the Latin classics to the Greek classics with only a couple of exceptions. So when I look in this box, I see that these are all green. Green is Greek, red is Latin. I realize that these are probably not going to be any of my very favorite classical authors. Beanie, you're making an awful racket. Can you stop doing that? You're making an awful racket. She's feeling a little cooped up since it's been pitch dark and pouring sleet here for the last I think this makes it 10 weeks. Anyway, so we have 3 Loeb Classical Library editions here. Fantastic. And this is, when did these come out? November? Yeah, these are all November. Okay, so what have we got here? We have volume 11 of their new translation of Hippocrates. From the famous Oath. He left an enormous amount of writing behind, a vast amount, and it always kills me that there isn't a gigantic Penguin volume or something like that. And Loeb has just been going through with translations. The translation here is by Paul Potter, and this is volume volume 11. This is going to be mostly about women, I think. Yeah, okay, yeah. This is Diseases of Women Part 1 and Diseases of Women Part 2. And if that sounds a little bit like Hippocrates is describing livestock, well, then you know what kind of a reading experience you're in for. And then what are the... Oh! Oh, my. The next two volumes are Hesiod. Oh my! So we have the Theogony, the Works and Days, the Testimonia. The Theogony and the Works and Days are his marquee works, and then the Shield, the Catalogue of Women, and all of the Hesiod fragments. Fantastic! Oh, fantastic! Oh boy! Oh boy! So you see, this is what I was talking about. You get the Greek on one side and the English on the other. Wow! Oh, fantastic! I have read these. I have pored over them with a dictionary at hand and a grammar at hand, stumbling and then getting up again and dragging myself on. It's a different experience for me because ancient Greek is so strange as a language. I can read Latin of the Loeb Classical Library editions without any kind of aid. I can sight read it. So and often because the translations, the English language translations in these volumes are not really done for their, soaring literary quality. They're meant to be serviceable only. Often when I get a Latin Loeb Classical Library edition, I always read the introductions, and especially every volume has a sort of a long and detailed note on the history of the text, which is always fascinating, because these are great classicists who are doing these. But often when it's a Latin text that's in a Loeb volume, I will dutifully read along for a little bit of the English, and then I will just skip it and just read the Latin. I won't be doing that in this case. So we have pretty much the whole works of Hesiod, and another volume of Hippocrates. Fantastic! Oh boy! Oh boy! Okay, so. Alright, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good as a box's content. This third and final box is going to have to work really hard to beat that. Because we've got the Indian Expeditionary Forces in World War I. That's a Steve book right there. Then we have the Loeb Classical Library editions. The Classics of Greece and Rome are my oldest literary friends. I love them dearly. So I don't know what's going to be in here. We shall see. It's going to have mighty big literary shoes to fill. Let's see. I can't even imagine what this could be. Let's see what we have here. All of this stuffing. What is this? Okay. All right, this is due any day. This is from Yale University Press. What a lovely thing. This is a finished copy. I don't know that I ever got the advanced copy of this. This is by David Reynolds and Vladimir Pechatnov, and it's the Kremlin Letters. Stalin's wartime correspondence with Churchill and Roosevelt. How amazing. What is the size of this thing? What have we got here? Stalin exchanged more than 600 messages with Allied leaders Churchill and Roosevelt during the Second World War. In the Kremlin Letters, the fruit of a unique British-Russian scholarly collaboration, the messages are published and also analyzed within their historical context. Ranging from intimate personal greetings to weighty salvos about diplomacy and strategy, this book offers fascinating new revelations of the political machinations and the human stories behind the Allied triumvirate. Huh. Okay. Fantastic. All right, well, this is due any day, so I have a perfect rationale to read it tonight. It's going to be dispiriting, because unlike the letters back between Churchill and Roosevelt and Stalin, the letters from Stalin are almost entirely just bald-faced lies. An endless blizzard of bald-faced lies. So it's going to be a little demoralizing to read them and say, okay, well, that wasn't true. Okay, well, we know that wasn't true. All right, well, they knew at the time that wasn't true, but I will persevere. So, not a bad boxy mail haul. So we have the Kremlin Letters, the correspondence of Stalin with his two Western counterparts. Then we have Army of Empire, the Indian Expeditionary Forces in World War I. And then we have the newest three Loeb Classical Library editions in Greek, or for the Greek. So we have Hippocrates, one more volume in the huge ongoing translation of Hippocrates, and 2 volumes of Hesiod. his most famous works, and stuff that nobody reads, and fragments, a lot of which I bet I haven't read. Fantastic. I am very happy. Very good. All right, so this is not only all classical or nonfiction, but it counterbalances the earlier mail haul that we did completely. It's all classics and nonfiction, and it's all stuff that I can read right away. It's not 2019. So the two things together make for a wonderful day's mail. so that's it. That was wonderful. I can't wait. I'm going to dig right into these. But I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.